everyone. I'm here to make sure that you are understanding some problems on the workbook pages. This video is looking at page 57 and page 58. So first of all, we're going to start off on page 57, looking at percent of change. This is our percent of error, percent increase, percent decrease, all of those formulas that we've learned. So let's go ahead and begin by looking on page 57. And we're going to look at number 15. And again, you may show all of this work. I'm giving you work and answers. So number 15 should be exactly correct, and this should help you understand how to do most of these problems. So the problem states that 93 is decreased to 90. So our original number is 93, and our new number is 90. So what we are trying to do is use that formula that we talked about, basically finding the difference between the new and original minus new, and we're going to divide it by the original. We're trying to figure out the percent, or proportionally how far apart are the difference compared to that original number. So this is sort of a tricky subject. We've talked about it a little in class, but most of you understood the formula. So we're finding the difference between the two numbers we're comparing, and we're dividing by that original number that we started with. So let's go ahead and plug in our numbers that we know. Our original number, and I'll do this in a different color just right up above, our original was 93, and our new number is 90. It has changed to 90. It's gone down. Okay, so this is going to be a percent of decrease. And again, our original is 93. So what we're looking at is 93 minus 93, and it's divided by 93. And we just need to change that fraction to a percent. A few different ways to do that. My favorite, the easiest I think, is just to use division and change it to a decimal first. So if I change this to a decimal, so what I've typed in the calculator is 3 divided by 93. We know that fraction bar means to divide. So 3 divided by 93, I get 0.03225 basically. Oh, we'll round to 256. So from here, we just need to change it to a percent, and we need to go ahead and move our decimal 2 places to the right. So we'll have to round it some 3 22/100ths about percent. So you can round to the nearest hundredths place is absolutely fine. So there's your problem from page 57. We're going to do one more quick one from page 58. All right, looking at an example from page 58. From page 58, we're going to look at number 15 just to try one. These are our percent, I'm sorry, not percent. These are our simple interest problems. So we talked about a formula for this, once again, just like the formula with the last. We talked about I par T, IPRT. So I, the amount of interest you will pay, equals the principal times the rate times the time. So they're all just being multiplied. So basically, we're just substituting in numbers for each of these variables. So if you know the formula, which you all do, all you're doing is substitution. You're plugging in numbers. So in number 15, they told us that the interest, was 891. P, the principal, was 2,700. They did not tell us the rate, so I'm going to leave that as R. And then T for time is 5.5 years. Remember, we always want it to be in years so that we can get our annual rate. All right? So our rate, remember, is going to be a percent. So we need to keep that in mind, that whenever we find the answer, it's actually going to be in decimal form. And we want to actually change it into a percent. All right? So let's go ahead and look at this. Basically, we have a few things happening to R. It's being multiplied by 5.5 and 2,700. I'm going to switch colors and just kind of simplify this. The commutative property says I can move these numbers around. So I'm going to move 2,700 right next to the 5.5, and I'm going to multiply those numbers together first. So I haven't done anything on the left side of my equation. It's still just 891. And I combined the 2,700 and the 5.5. And I got 14,850. Combined is not the right word. I moved them to be beside each other and I multiplied those. It's all multiplication on that side. So keep that in mind. Combined was not the correct word there. And we still have our R. I haven't done anything with my R. I still don't know my rate. So next, our goal is to get that R by itself, to try to figure out what's happening to R and how should we undo it. So what is happening to R here? I see multiplication. It's being multiplied by 14,850. So if I'm going to divide on one side by 14,850 to get R by itself, I need to do the same thing on the other side. So I have 891 divided by 14,850. And remember, this is going to tell us, I'll write it up here, R equals 0.06 or 0 and 6 hundredths. That is a decimal. It's okay if you want to leave it as a decimal, but normally we want to leave that as a percent. We're talking in terms of percent. When we're talking about the rate of a bank account or of a loan, or that's your interest rate, we're talking at a percentage because it does depend on how much money you're putting in there, remember. It's a percentage of your principal, and it also depends on the time. But this should be changed to a percent to do this correctly, and we are looking at an annual rate of 6%. So number 15 on page 58 is 6%, and I have all of my work shown perfectly. So any of this that you can see, you may copy. You may absolutely copy this and use this to help guide you through the rest of those problems on page 58.